Welcome everyone to another episode of Property Talk Live. This is our weekly Thursday breakdown where we pick a major real estate question and simplify it for you. So today we are discussing a very sensitive and important topic. It is how buyer can avoid falling victim to scams or fake land titles. So let's get straight into what every property buyer should know. I have here with me as usual my co-host Mr. Tochi who will be giving us the explanations for all of the questions that we have today. Welcome again, Mr. Tochi.
Thank you, Mary. I'm happy to be here again today, and welcome to all our viewers around the world. Thank you.
So, getting straight into our questions for today. Um, our first question, by the way, is why do people still fall victims to fake titles and property scams?
Fantastic. This is one of the problems or one of the challenge that buyers um, who, most of them are the first time buyers, and then their excitement of buying or owning the lands or property or house makes them to leave the most important things and then rush out of that excitement. And of course, they fall prey to this lack of verifications, and then believing that verbal promises, from the agents, or broker, or the sellers, without doing the necessary consulting professionals. The professionals we're talking about here, for those who are listening to us, uh, is the surveyors, we talk about the lawyers, property lawyers, and of course, professional consultants, real estate consultants. So those are some of the things that you find why majority of first-time buyers, even established buyers and investors, real estate investors, they also fall into one thing upon a time. They do fall into the same uh, prey to this uh, people of questionable characters while buying, and of course sometimes they also fall into this. They can clone some of these documents or previously sold land or property or house or any form of asset, without knowing. So you fall into these, wicked souls around. So these are the things that makes them to fall into the hands of the wrong people while they're trying to, expand their real estate investment portfolio. Right.
Mm, that's an eye-opening answer, I would say.
Yes.
So what are the verification steps every buyer should take before paying for a property?
Yes. Always demand for those who are watching us, maybe anywhere you are right now. We're going to highlight those things that you need to, look before paying, because once that money exchange hands, it's going to be difficult to bring it back. So money should be well calculated and do the right thing before you move it out. Number one is always demand to see the original title documents. This is very important. So not photocopy or photocopies alone. So you need to see the original, cite it. It's called cite. As a buyer or as an investor, or whether you are subscribing for estates, so you have the right, because it is your money. Don't forget that.
To see the original title
That
document and
exactly,
not just the photocopy.
not just the photocopy. Okay, so verify the document at the land registry, which is very, very important, or survey office. Every state, no matter wherever you are, whether you are investing in Nigeria, investing in Ghana, investing in the US, investing anywhere, Europe, Canada, they have land registry. So that land registry is where you find every piece of land, piece of property are all documented, and some of them are even digitalized in some states or in some, government uh, locations. They are all digitalized. So the third one is to conduct a coordinate search. That coordinate search is very important using a registered survey. Every registered survey has a number, a surveyor's number, meaning that they are all professionals. That number is assigned just like you have in any other field, like accountant, chartered accountant, lawyers. They all have numbers assigned to them. And whenever you see that, the surveyor stamp, you will see the number beside it. So the number will also contain the coordinates and every other information that are required. And if you are not knowledgeable in that area, of course, I'm not expecting investors to have knowledge of all these things. You can hire a professional surveyor. The professional surveyor will be able to do those things that you might not be able to identify by just mere looking at the documents. So that's the third one. They're confirming the land is free from or under any accusation. So we discussed it last time. We were talking about some documents. Once you cite it, you will see free from government or non-government accusation or any known accusation. So what we're talking about here, sometimes when the investors or the first-time buyers, they are listening to us, it will look like complicated. It's not complicated. And that's why we're not expecting you to know everything. This is the reason why we are doing this podcast, so that people will be aware. And then even if you are buying for the first time, you could ask some sensitive questions to whoever that is handling your transaction. So it will guide you to be able to make you to buy smart and save you from all kind of problems. So what it means is that if you see free from under known government accusation, means government do not have any interest. They don't have any interest in that land, either now or in the future. So you are free to buy and acquire that. Then of course the fourth or the fifth one is it the title matches the property location. Again, you can only know that by the help of the surveyors. The surveyors will be able to read the coordinate, because you can be able to know whether the land is on the location. It's not by just using your Google map. You have to use there's the coordinates, and those coordinates are handled by all licensed surveyors. So they will be able to locate and trace with what they have at the land registry, whether the coordinates are the same thing. Sometimes there could be wrong reading of the coordinates. And then it has happened in some cases where the land we have handled, where the coordinate written, in fact, we have one that we are doing right now. The coordinate written from the time the land was acquired or the property was acquired has changed because the Lagos state government had, during the time of the former governor, Ambode, had a different uh, uh, system that they put in place, that will be able to, digital systems that they put in place to be able to read lands, be able to have the proper documentation and digital documentation of land ownership and landed properties in Lagos State. And then they came, the current governor, His Excellency Sanwo, no, Sanwo, exactly. So there's a change, some changes are taking place. So those who have acquired their land prior to this change had been affected. So they need to come. So when you bring, for example, you have a title now, you take it to the government to reconfirm this title or this coordinate. It will be reading a different location. So they have to, those things have to be aligned with the former codes and the current code. So most times you find situations whereby you are having conflict of information. Don't worry if you are buying for the first time. The people who are the professionals, the surveyors, yeah, they are there to correct all those errors. So what they told us was that we need to correct those errors in mapping. That's all. Once it's corrected, what you have on the land will be what you have on the system, and you're good to go. So then check, of course, involve a property lawyer. Very important, just like we're talking now. If you are listening, please do not run away from hiring a professional property lawyer. This will save you from headache, trouble, or loss of your fund or investment. So let them do the job. You can always negotiate with them the amount you can pay. Yes, they have their professional charges, but it's not that you're not going to negotiate with them so that you can actually pay a very minimal amount of money to be able to have a proper documentation of your title. And don't forget, this thing we're talking about here, Mary, is not just about investing and not losing your land. For example, if you want to sell your property in the future, or you want to give it out to the bank, because it's a collateral, you can use your
Yeah.
property as an asset to access loans, whether you want to engage in any projects and you needed funds. So the bank will ask you for if you have any property, any assets. So property is one of the very good and clean and acceptable asset all over the world. So if you have a very clean, all fully documented property, meaning you can access loans in the bank or any financial institutions
As long as the documents are
are
verified.
very good and genuine and clean and verifiable through the land registry. So you want to access loans, bank will ask for those things. And then if you want to sell, two things that are advantage of this thing, which outweigh every other thing is if, for example, your location, say in Ikoyi or in mainland or island or anywhere in the world, any property that has all documents verified, we call it clean title. The price, for example, if I'm selling my own 10 million and yours do not have a clean title, it's not going to be the same price. You might even sell your own like 8 million or 7 million.
Yes, because whoever is buying has to verify it.
Exactly. And also, he or she is buying peace of mind. Because if my title is clean, meaning he or she is not going to spend any money to government or to anybody, it's just buy as it is. But if you are buying with some properties that has some, issues or the title are not clean, so meaning after buying, you still need to perfect what we call perfecting the title. Perfecting the title means all those errors, all those issues that we have highlighted here. The surveyor, the lawyer, the consultant or the broker or the real estate company or real estate agent. We work with different agencies to be able to harmonize those titles. And that will involve money, additional charge. So they have to pay for those monies or those money they were running away from paying from the beginning or trying to perfect those documents.
And it's like an expense for them.
An expense for them. So you cannot buy the same amount. It's just like you have a car, you're selling a car. I just want to make it so that people will understand it. A car that the engine is very good, sound and everything is clean, versus the car that has engine problem.
Yes. Before that, you still have to spend money to repair that engine. And that would have been the money you'd have paid as once.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is very, very important.
Yes. Thanks very much, sir, for that answer to the question. So another question that we have here is what are the documents a buyer should request before purchasing a property, like before paying to buy the property?
Yes. So this is very important for those who are buying for the first time, or those who intend to acquire property in the future, or those who are listening to us in this podcast this afternoon. One, the key documents you need to request from your buyer is to make sure that one is the CFO. The CFO is very important. We call it certificate of occupancy. So if you are buying, ask what are the title attached to those pieces of property. Number two, if it's either TFO or governance consent or consent, see that the land has certificate of occupancy or it has governor's consent. And then
so
of
one
course
of those two are very important for every property.
Every property. In fact, let me use it as an analogy again. The analogy is that if Mary is selling a land or a house or an apartment that has CFO or governor's consent, they are the same as per the same level. But If it is deed, which is the third one that they will be asking, deed of assignment, and then of course survey plan. Now, if my own has governor's consent or C of O, and you are selling yours with deed of assignment, my price will be higher than your own. Why? Why is it so? Because if you want to do your own governor's consent or C of O, you are going to pay to the government. There's a charge based on the size of the land, the location, and the value. So government in anywhere in the world charges based on the location of the land, the size, and then the value of that property support. So meaning, if I'm buying, for example, 10 million again, for the one that has CFO or governor's consent, yours might be 5 million or 6 million. Now, because the money you're going to spend to rectify those documents and have their CFO or governor's consent will almost be equal to the same amount that I'm selling my own at 10 million. By the time you perfect all those documents, okay? So we're not saying, for those who are listening to us, do not be confused or do not look like we are sounding like a broken record. What we're trying to say here is that when all those things you see properties, they will say, oh, 10 million on this location, 5 million, 8 million. Those things, the prices are determined by the title attached to those piece of property. Those are what makes the total value of every piece of property in any location. So approved layout or allocation of later, that is for allocation later. For example, if you're buying like in an estate from estate developers, so all those estate developers, they have approved layout. We talked about a little bit of it in our last podcast, where we talked about the property or the estate layout, approved layout from the government. Because government will go through whatever the size, the pieces of estates, and assign that these estates are approved based on the facility, based on the location, drainage, security, and all that you can find in any standard estate. Drainage, facilities, everything. So the government will now assign it that this estate is recognized in their own system. So, if you are subscribing through an estate developer, so you need to find out whether that estate is approved. And if it is approved, is the layout approved? So on and so forth. So by the time you are satisfied with those a piece of information, you can go ahead and make the purchase, and knowing that nothing will happen to the property in the future. So these are important things. Of course, different properties require different documentation, so buyers must confirm and apply all of those things as we have enumerated in this discussion.
Thank you very much. That's I think that's explanatory. We've explained everything
Yes.
regarding that question.
Thank
So
you.
another question that we have from our viewers is somebody's asking, how can buyers verify if the title is real or fake?
Yes, of course. By merely looking at every piece of document, you might not be able to know whether it is fake or cloned. Now, documents are cloned and it will look exactly. And then don't forget, we're in the era of AI. So AI can generate, automate documents, and it will look exactly like the original. So we are in a very interesting time. I wouldn't say difficult time, but very interesting time. The thing is that the easiest way to do that is to visit the registry's office. Visit the registry's office or surveyor's office to confirm whether those documents are correct or not. Then cross-check coordinates using a licensed surveyor. The surveyor of every location, of their license. What I mean by license is that no professional, no licensed professional in any part of the world will want to damage or to destroy their name on a pot of porridge.
Yeah.
Just a piece of silver. You cannot buy them. Why? Because They've been trained, and there's a code of conduct in every association, be it national, be it state level. So any erring member will be disciplined according to the code of conduct of that organization. So none of them will want to go below the set standards while guiding their customers or their clients to buy property. So they will be able to crochet the coordinate and read it properly. Even some of those, real estate agents do not have knowledge of these things I'm talking about. Forget about how many years they've been into the industry. Does not matter because it's not their field. It's not their area of expertise. So whether you say, "Oh, I've been doing this thing for a long time. I have my companies. I've worked for some. We've gone on the course of our own service, offering service our clients, trying to acquire properties. We come across other agents in the field, and they will tell you, "Oh, I've been in the industry for the past 30 years. Even before you were born, I've been there." So it's not about being there, how old or how many years of experience you've been working for it. We're talking about professionals who are licensed, who cannot go below the industry standards. And this is applicable all over the world. So we are talking about, do not invade or try to avoid hiring professionals when you are doing something of this nature, because this is your asset. Then ask to meet the original owner physically, if possible.
That's the main owner, the first person to buy that property.
Exactly.
That acquire the property.
Exactly. It's very, very important that people ask to meet. If you cannot meet, you can do virtual meeting. Probably you are not in that particular location, you will be diaspora, but you can as well do virtual meeting. And then you can as well, like last week we were talking about, do not be in a hurry. You can send someone a trusted aunt or sister or relative to go and do verification of that person office, or probably meet the person one-on-one to ask some certain questions and get clarity where you are not clear. And of course, the next one is to review legal documents with a lawyer before signing. It's very important because there are a lot of documents to be signed. There are a lot of documents to be read before the final transaction is completed.
Before the payment is even made at all.
At all. There are a lot of voluminous documentations from the title to the survey to the deed. These are not one-page documents. They are numerous pages. Some can read up to 10 or more or 15 pages with different legal wordings. So it is important that you are guided accordingly with a lawyer, a real estate lawyer or property lawyer. So search for red flags. Last week we speak so many importance about how you flag the red flags. So as we are continuing with these things, altered pages, these are important. Ladies and gentlemen that are listening to us today, look for these things. They are important.
In a property document.
Yes, in the property document.
You are verifying before you even pay for the property at all.
At all, exactly. So it's important that you look for altered pages, spelling errors. You know, that's why you remember the last transaction we handled. What happened? Can you share the experience?
Yes, actually, it was there was an application on the property documents.
Exactly.
Which we had to like go through one page by page, one by one again to see, because these are not, it's not a scam issue or a fake title or anything.
Exactly.
These are just typo errors.
Yes.
Because a name is supposed to be spelled a certain way, and then like a letter is making the name different.
Yes.
And then when the owner received the documents, he immediately noticed that, which is something that if you take it to the court to verify that I'm the owner of the property, and then someone else that is also behind that name,
exactly,
spelled at the way it is written on that document, can come and claim that document that he is the owner. And the fact that you register your name with the government, the way it is spelled there is different from what's on that document. It will be very, very difficult for you to claim that property, except you like show them your bank statement, your transaction statement with the
supporting documents.
Yes, supporting
exactly,
documents
exactly,
from where you bought the property. Exactly. Those are the only reason, or like let's say that, yes, I'll say the only reason that can allow you gain that property back.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's very, very crucial. Those are very tiny mistakes
Mistakes. Yeah, exactly.
that could cause huge problems in the future if
Exactly.
care is not taken.
If care is not taken, just like to use the award, if care is not taken, that's how people lose properties to people. And don't forget that in the midst of good people, you have bad people in the society.
Yes.
They're looking for loopholes. They're not interested in your strengths. So once they see the loopholes, they capitalize on it. And then off we go. And most times, investors or property buyers are not the people that are living in that location. They might be in the diaspora in different parts of the world. So they're investing back home. And that's the reason why we're doing this podcast. Yeah, so we're doing it to create an awareness
Yes.
campaign. So we've taken upon ourselves. People might look at it and say, oh, why are we discussing about it? And I know that a lot of our colleagues that might not like what we're discussing right now, because some of them have, done some things that are not quite very good.
Yeah, you're
So
not even to the head of at all.
exactly, they don't want to talk about this, but we want to help your generation, my generation, and the investors and those who are preparing to invest in real estate, so they can be guided. So you do your transaction because it's one time in a lifetime. So some people are doing it as business, as investors. Some people buy it to live, to become a place of abode, their residence, where they're going to live for the rest of their life, and then bequeath it to their children. Because every piece of property is transferable.
Yes.
It's
So why,
generational.
yeah, so why should you tamper with such a thing?
Exactly.
Be verifying the document.
Exactly. So don't be in a rush, because at the end of the day, even if it did not happen in your own time, how about your children who are going to inherit? Because it's an inheritance, of those pieces of property. So we want you to be to stay right, invest right, and live life of peaceful life. And then your children who are going to inherit some of your investments or your assets could be able to live and enjoy, and then even transfer. It's generational. So those pieces of wrong spellings, like Mary mentioned here, are very important. Carry them. Make sure that they are all in the same uniform with the whole title or whole documents that you are going to be transferred to as the new owner.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank
for
you.
that. I think that's clear enough for everyone to understand.
Exactly.
So another question that we have from our viewers, somebody is asking that are there clear signs that a property offer is a scam? Like, well, I think what they mean by clear signs is red flags. Are there any red flags that shows that this offer that they're giving for this property is a scam?
Exactly. I remember many times we've come across that. Personal experience I'm talking about. Sometimes, even most of them, you can relate to your own experience if you don't mind.
I've not had
But I remember the time you took somebody for inspection somewhere in the Lekki.
oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, I want to someone for a property in Lekki, and this is like a property. He attended to me like an agent actually. He attended
Exactly.
to me like he's like the direct mandate to the property. Meanwhile, this is like a chain connection
Correct.
whereby someone has a property to sell. Then
Exactly.
they go to meet the real estate agent that, oh, I have a property that I want to sell. Then this person, because one person cannot sell the property,
Yeah.
it's not possible. Maybe okay, I because you want this property to sell fast, I tell someone else, I'm selling this property. They don't even wait to get the entire information about the property and how it goes and everything. Forward the information to someone else. Before you know, it moves from agents to agents to agents to agent, and then they keep posting the property without even knowing the status of the property, whether it's still available or it's no longer available, whether the property is sold, or whether the property is under a court
Case.
under a court case. They just continue to post the property like that. And then we went for this inspection. We did everything. We
Yes.
did all the necessary investigation that we should on that property.
Yes.
Only to find out later that the documents we asked for the documents, send the documents to us, let us go and verify.
Yes.
Then they send something else that is actually different from what we have been told
Exactly.
that the property has.
And what happened? We lost the sale.
We lost the sale because since we are unable to verify the documents, I can't convince my client to buy a property that does not have a clear title.
Exactly.
It's not possible.
So I'm happy you share this experience, because when we're talking about this, people will think like, I mean, these are multi-million naira transactions.
Yes.
So it's not like you're buying some piece of something, So you need to know when they are giving you unusual price of a property. The price is low compared to the market value price. You know that something is wrong. So the other one is that if agents is pushing that you should make immediate payments without even carrying out any kind of, like what you said there. No, you've not even seen the title, you've not even verified the title, you've not even, there's no traces of historical information regarding the property. And the next thing is to make payments. That's a red flag. So no physical inspection allowed. We see that one all the time.
Yes.
They will just say, bring your clients.
Yes. In fact, they will not even tell you about it, but they will not send you pictures or anything that you want to see at all. They'll tell you to come with your clients to the site.
To the site. So you're buying something that is very, very generational and an investment that will take. You are sometimes some of those buyers is their lifetime saving.
Yes, and these agents do not even know anything about this property. They just keep
Exactly.
pushing clients to come and buy, come and buy, come and pay, come and pay. Meanwhile, they know nothing about the property.
Exactly.
And then when the real issue happens,
Yes.
it's like you're on your own.
Yes, exactly. So what we're talking about here is once you see all this, no physical inspection. Where are you? You're buying a physical asset,
Yes.
so it's touchable. You can feel it. You can see it. So there's no need to say there's no physical inspection. Exactly. So seller avoid documentation. So they will deliberately avoid some pieces of documentations because you need to be able to connect those documentation, from the deed to the surveyor to to the the CFO, to governor's consent, to family receipt, to seller's receipt. So all those pieces of documents, you must put them all together.
You must have them in place.
Exactly. Even if you're buying, for example, a already built house, that house is supposed to be paying some property fee to the government. Tax. So if you're buying a piece of property or land, even land, they also pay tax as long as it's a property that are already in locations and already known. Government collect tax every year. Although there are some countries that is once, that you pay tax. But in for example, Nigeria or Lagos State, it's yearly, the property tax. So title cannot be verified or details are inconsistent, just like what I said. So when you start to have all those kind of things, you cannot connect them. It's a red flag to place. You need to be able to do your correct to understand. Yes, some of them could be honest, mistake from the original seller or the owner.
Yes,
yes.
Not giving out full information.
Exactly.
Information.
Exactly.
Those are selling.
Yeah, exactly. So again, that's where professional is needed to be able to connect those dots. Go to the property, the property registry's office, do the necessary due diligence, and then verify that it is genuinely owned by that seller or whoever that is. And then for most times, people who are selling properties on behalf of the owners, there's what they call power of attorney. The power of attorney gives you authority to sell on behalf of the client of your either your relative, either your clients or whoever that is involved. That power of attorney, PA, will give you the power to sell, and the person will give you what are the things you are going to do. For example, to collect money and remit to him, and then to transact on his behalf or her behalf. So when you are buying properties, you need to be finding out those information. And some of them could be verbal, some of them could be text message, but there should be something showing that you are allowed or empowered to do that. And the payment is required into a personal account. It's a red flag. You're buying a property worth millions of naira and you are paying it in a private account. That's a red flag.
That's why you suspect.
Exactly.
That something is going on.
Exactly. So companies preferably deal with corporates. But again, if it is an individual that you rely, you know very well, have done businesses who have helped you to grow, several transactions, you build trust along the line. But it's always advisable to deal with corporates and a company that you can verify to be on the safe side.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes,
So, dear viewers, you've gotten the signs that you should look out for when purchasing a property to know that this property is a scam, and then you should not even fall victim to this, because I believe we've explained
yes,
most of these problems
yes,
and most of these signs, this red flag that you should watch out for.
exactly.
So our last question that we have for today's session
Yes,
here from our viewers
yes.
is somebody is asking, what is the safest way to buy a property without stress?
The safest
The
way.
safest way
Yeah, the safest way
to
to
buy a
buy,
property
yeah, without stress is what we call through a developer,
A
why
verified
a
property
reputable
manager.
developer. Why I said so is that if you are buying for the first time, especially first time investors or buyers, buy already built. Why I said so is that if you are buying from a developer already built, for example, developer, they are the one who have done all the needed things from the ground zero to up.
In terms of built properties, like not land,
Apartment, yes,
apartments
yes,
and
yes, yes,
houses.
yes, apartment. So if you're buying apartments, buy from a developer. The reason is that, you know, then let me even give the reason why it is the most safest way. You buy, for example, you have a property worth 100 million, two-bedroom or three-bedroom apartment, all in suite. So now the developer have already made from the allocation to the approval plan to the CFO to the deeds to the every damning approval has been secured from government. So you are not the one going to be going through those things, because those things could be stressful and difficult, and the time allowed for you to do all those documentations, approvals, that could be very slow. But if you are subscribing to through a developer, they will only show you those documents, and then you pay small amount of money. For example, a property is worth 100 million. They will tell you to pay like 30% down payment or 20% down payment. You see that you have your 100 million cash. Now you pay 30%, meaning you have 70% to trade, and you have the opportunity to pay small monthly payment plan. And then now they are building. Remember, the property is 100 million,
Yes.
and then they started from ground zero. They give you the drawing plan, and then the property, the master plan, everything you're going to have at the end of the day. So, and they start from the foundation. They're building that property at that time worth 100 million. They're giving it to you. Within 6 months after they have conceived the property, laid the foundation, going to the ground floor, to the first floor, and then up like that, the value has gone up. Meanwhile, you've not finished paying, but you've already had return on investment on that property. Property can be on 100 million. Before you finish paying, it's already 150 million
Yes.
or 200 million
Yes, because these properties they appreciate every day.
every day. As they are putting the money into the property, building it up, the value is increasing. So, meanwhile, you still have your capital. The normal money is still with you. If you are a business person, you are also turning in that money and paying it small, because money needs to be traded.
Yes.
Money are not meant to be stored in the bank.
Yes.
Like most people,
Your money needs to work for you.
it needs to work for you. So you need to deploy it to work. So as they continue to build, continue to move, your money is increasing, the value, the return on the investment is increasing. So it gives you peace of mind. Again, how do you identify the right developer? That's why you need to do your due diligence. Do your due diligence. And that's why we're talking about this. And if you need our help, we are available to give you guide you on this. And then you can search on Google, on ChatGPT, or visit the office, or ask your friends who have succeeded in that area, or your relative. They can be of here. Do not go and ask somebody who has never done real estate
Or
business.
someone who just has knowledge of yes, say, yes, say, yes.
Exactly. It's going to mislead you. So you need to ask some people who are well versed. So it's not like you want to, like, for example, and I'm no disrespect. Somebody I used last time that somebody who has never had 50 million in the account, and then you move 200 million. That's very high risk. You know, even sometimes the bank can even freeze that money. If the
Yes.
money comes in
Because
into
it's like an unusual
unusual transaction,
transaction.
credit, inflow into that account. So it's a red flag. So that's why you need to be very careful and be guided in all of those things. So in that one, you buy, and as you buy it, you have peace of mind because they are building.
Yes.
You just wherever you are, you mind their business until they finish. They hand over the document. The only thing you need to do there is to follow what we have already outlined. Find out the title, verify the title of that estate, and make sure that the developer has a good history from the previous projects that they've carried on and delivered projects
To their ongoing projects.
to their ongoing project as well. So once you do that, it's the most safest way to buy. And then if it is land acquisition is it has to pay, except if it is through developer again that you cannot pay because if it's an individual you're paying full payment, one-time payment. So there's no room for spread payment. So if you're buying land, it's the same thing, what they call land banking. Okay, so you also need to be able to verify the documentations and all that. For example, if you're buying an estate where they're selling land alone, they're not building, just the land. So you need also to know what type of document, because some of those lands are family land. Some of them, the family has not given consent to be sold.
And that's been passed from generation to
Generation. So that's why when you're buying, they are in fact, if you're buying land from anywhere, the first thing you should do is the title documents.
verify. And there's one thing they always tell you to not pay until verification is complete.
Exactly. So do not be in a hurry. Do not be out of an excitement to rush to pay. So by the time you buy like that, and don't forget, I recommend that as I'm saying, this is just one of the tips we're giving to them today.
Yes.
To be able to buy, if you are starting, you have money in the bank, you do not know how to invest on that money, or you're afraid of going to real estate, please start with off-plan projects. Very reliable. And then you will see that the money you put, little money you put in that project. Listen, the rich do not share this thing we're sharing. Don't forget, Mary. They don't share this. They keep it within themselves. The reason is that they want you to remain poor. They don't want you to be rich. And that's why they don't want to share this information. So we are sharing it out of love, out of compassion, and out of we love what we are doing. And we want you to be prosperous in life and enjoy your money. The money do not benefit you by being in the bank. So the best way to start your real estate investment in a more very cautious way is to buy apartments through a well recognized and reputed exactly company. It will be the money you put, the little cash you put will be appreciated. And if you wanted to do land banking, you can buy, but let the title be very clear. And then the land you buy, see, you did not do anything. You did not face it because you're buying from a developer.
Yes.
You're not buying from individual, whereby you need to fence. So there will be perimeter fence from that estate. There's security, there's everything that you need. So as those things they put in their document, contract document, they will provide them. So the land will continue to appreciate all the time. As they continue to appreciate, your money, your investment is appreciating. Why not you start today? And then we will be very glad to guide you.
Yes, of course. You can consult us.
Yes.
Just like into our DMs. If there's any question you need to know,
Exactly.
real estate investment, how to start, even with the little capital you have,
Yes.
we are going to explain to you. And of course, this comes at no cost.
No cost. Zero.
We're not charging anything.
Anything.
So if you have any questions, you want to invest in a property, or there's a property you have in mind that you want to buy, and you need a representative,
Yes.
a licensed representative,
Yes.
to buy that property on your behalf or to help you negotiate and then get that property, you can always come to our DMT dealing with property. We are always here to guide you
That's
to
right.
get that property of your choice. So, like we said in our today's program, the safest way to avoid scam is through verification, documentation, and of course, due diligence. So no matter how attractive the offer is,
Yes.
if a buyer must take their time to confirm the authenticity
Ab-
of
Absolutely.
every document, because
Absolutely.
losing money in real estate is easy,
It's
but
very easy.
avoiding that loss is easier.
Yes.
So when you follow the right step, you're able to avoid the loss. So thank you very much for joining us in today's session. You can join us next session next Thursday at the same time by 1:30 p.m. on our YouTube page. Our YouTube page is TD Property Talk Live. Please follow us, subscribe, and of course share it to your friends, because you'll be getting so many insights on things to avoid when you're getting a property, and the things you should look out for and what you should expect for buying a property. So we'll be taking up another powerful questions from our viewers. People have been dropping their questions to our DMs. We are going to be addressing those questions in each session that we have every Thursday. So and that will help you to invest smarter and safer, of course. So thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll be expecting you next week. My name is Mary, your host for our Property Talk Live show, and with me I have here Mr. Toshi. Thank you very much, sir, for
Thank
asking our
you.
questions.
Thank you
We
so
really,
much.
really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
audience.
So thank you, everyone. Bye. See you next time.
Bye.